I've just been doing a few admin bits this morning, trying to book a campsite or two for the summer, the end of the summer. Me and Katie are taking a van down the west coast of Ireland, so trying to sort some of that stuff, trying to call car insurance, boring things like that. Has to be done. Gonna continue with that, get a couple more bits done, do some washing up, and then I'm going with Adam to set up some tents today, because tomorrow we've got a friend's wedding. Good friends Joe and Izzy are getting married, and we're really excited about that. It's really fun. Their wedding is at just like a pub near Bristol, but we've booked to like camp at the pub, so that should be a fun way to kind of spend the weekend. But we're going to set up the tents today because no one wants to set up a tent mid-wedding day. Garage flood has dried up, which is good. Hello. Adam's aircon. This car is like a furnace, even when it's like 20 degrees outside, because the aircon doesn't work, so windows open only. Very excited for this weekend. We're going to be here tomorrow after the church service for the ceremony, and then just stay the night in the tents. It's going to be fun. In the lock-in, yeah. It's such a cool little pub and little like wedding site. It looks beautiful, so looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see the church in there.
Is it recording?
That's lovely.
There is something going.
See you tomorrow. I'm not super sure what else I'm going to get up to today. Probably just a bit of reading, chilling. I haven't actually done a Bible study this morning, which is my normal routine, so might go and do that now. But first I thought, because I'm not sure what else is going to be in the vlog, I'd give you a bit of a run through of how I make my coffee. You didn't ask for it, but you're going to get it. We'll do how I make an espresso coffee, flat white, whatever, but if you want to know how I make my filter, then let me know. We've got a Sage Barista Express, if you're wondering what coffee machine it is. You can get the Sage Bambino or the Sage Barista Pro, which are also very good coffee machines. The Pro would be better, Bambino not as good, Express somewhere in the middle. First things first, obviously really complicated. Turn on the espresso machine. You don't have to do, you might want to do, is just click the 1 cup and purge the group head and just kind of get any coffee grounds, whatever, out of there before you start. Obviously, make sure you've got enough water. It's always important. Then we want to get our coffee. So the Barista Express has got a hopper and a grinder in it. This is the hopper. Grinder in here. You might have a separate grinder, but it's handy if you've got it in it. So always weigh your coffee beans, probably coffee beans in the grind, one of the most important parts. For espresso, I tend to use the beans that are in this thing. So these, that's Origin. We use their Resolute coffee beans for espresso. It's good to stick to, well, I like to stick to a similar type of coffee bean. It means you don't have to change the grind setting, all of that. We love these ones, they work well for us. Origin are great, check them out. Get your scales to 0 and we want 18 grams. Pretty much. Stick the coffee beans in the hopper. Grind setting is really important, so you can set the grind setting on the side of how fine or how coarse you want your beans to be. That's going to change how quickly the water goes through it, and therefore how strong, or what you would say is how much extraction you're going to get from those coffee beans, how much of the good taste you're going to get. On this, I've got my grind size set to 7. That just works for these coffee beans like we're saying. So that's why I like to keep it the same, so I don't have to fiddle about with that, mess it around a lot of the time. If you do want to, you can change it every time. You might just have to pull a couple of espressos that don't work out so well before you get to the grind setting that works. Obviously then, you want to grind your coffee. I use this handy little thing which goes on top, I actually don't know what it's called. It goes on top of your portafilter, and then that means that the coffee won't spill over the top when you grind it. In this espresso machine, all you've got to do is tap it in once, it'll start grinding, and you can tap it again to stop it, but we've only put 18 grams in the top, so we just want to grind it all the way through. You can set the grind amount, and depending on where you've set that, I don't really use that because obviously how many beans you put in, you just grind them all, but you might need to tap it again if that's not set high enough. And then a tip that I've started using recently with this machine is there's always grinds that are left inside the burrs, inside the grinder, that you want to get out, so you want it to be up to 18 again. So I would always pull this up a bit, it creates a bit of an air pocket, and you can just pop that through. There you go. So we should have our ground coffee now. We want to get this ready to go in here, push some water through it. Alright, so to get a coffee puck that is going to work well for us, we want to do a couple things. We want to take out all these bobbly bits that are kind of large grinds mixed together, and we want to make it flat and obviously push down, called tamping. So we want it tamped so that it's going to create that pressure as the water goes through. To get rid of these big bobbly bits, we want this, just a little distribution tool, and that's going to distribute them as we kind of break up any of the clumps. Alright, it should be nice and even. Then we can take this off now, and we want to tamp what we've got left then. So Normcore tamper, so it, as you press it down, it kind of keeps at the same level, so it should be fairly even. Now there are still coffee grinds over and around the top, so we might lose a few, but hopefully not too many as we tamp down. When it's nice and flat, give it a little spin to distribute those grinds around the portafilter a little bit, and then we're going to give it a couple pushes. And now we should have our nice, lovely and flat coffee tamped down in our portafilter, ready to go through. What you can do at this point is you can grab one of these, which is a little extra filter that can go on top of your puck, and that's going to help let the pressure of the water go through evenly through your coffee puck, but we don't need it, so we won't use it. I'm going to click it in nice and carefully. Grab a cup that you like. I'm going to go for bit of a latte cup. Now this is maybe the most important bit. We need to weigh our coffee into the cup. So not just weigh the coffee beans out in the first place, but we want to weigh the coffee that comes out. What we want is we want to get 36 grams of coffee into this cup in about 30 seconds. We ground 18 grams of beans, so we want to double that, 36. Why we want 30 seconds is because the time it takes to get through, the time the water takes to get through this puck will tell us about how extracted it is. So if it takes longer than 30 seconds, that's probably going to be quite a bitter cup of coffee because it's spent too long getting through that coffee, so it's kind of taken too much of that with it. I don't really know enough technicalities about this to really say what it is, but we don't want that. We also don't want it to be too quick, so if it's like watery running through, which is usually what happens with this machine, that means that we're not getting enough of that taste and it's going to be under extracted and it probably won't be as sweet as we want it to be. Roughly 30 seconds, 36 grams is what we're aiming for. I'm making a 2 cup because that's the strength that I'm looking for here, but you could do this in a single instead if you wanted to. What I do is I tap and hold that, it'll pre-infuse the coffee, which we'll not worry about what that is, but gives it a better chance of coming through evenly if we do that. So I'll hold that for 5 seconds, start my timer. I'll stop there. So we've got about 24, 25 seconds. Not great, but not too bad. We've got our espresso, time for the milk now. So we don't have to weigh our milk, which is good, but we want the milk inside the pitcher to be just below the spout. So with this machine, before you steam your milk, you have to kind of get the steamer warmed up first. So turn it on, and you're going to have to give it about 30 seconds or so to warm up. Once this is about full power, you're going to turn it on, and you've got about 8 seconds before it starts again. You want to get it in your milk, turn it on. You want it to be just below the surface of the milk, first of all, while you're getting the bubbles in. And then once that part is finished, once you've got enough bubbles in, you kind of have to get used to it on the machine and judge it. But for this machine, because it's not as powerful, that's going to take maybe 20 seconds or so. You're going to push the pitcher up so that the milk is then not getting any more bubbles into it, but you're swirling it around and breaking those bubbles up. And you're going to do that probably on this machine for maybe another 40 seconds to a minute. You also want the milk to get heated up, so you're not going to have cold coffee. And that's how you know when to stop, is when it's so hot that you basically can't touch the side of the pitcher. That's when you need to turn off the steamer. So you want to start, give it a swirl, give it a tap, and try and mix the milk as much as you can. Same with the espresso, give it a little bit of swirl. You start high, I'm going to mix in, get your base, and then you want to move low and push the coffee in, and you can give it a little bit of a shimmy just to give it a bit of a movement like that. I'm not amazing at the latte art, but can do a little bit of a rosetta. There you go, that's how I make an espresso based coffee. This was a latte. They vary in how good they are from time to time, but that's the basics, and hope you enjoyed. I'm going to go enjoy the coffee now and do a bit of a Bible study. Katie's back from work now, and we can't really be bothered to cook anything tonight, slash don't have much in the house, so we're going to get takeaway. We get some Chinese, so I'll go get it. We ordered it, very excited.